Hey, what's up, everybody? We are on episode 8, and today we've got Torbjörn on Gibraltar. Gold level Torbjörn, 2311 is the SR. Although he said in the email he's not sure what the SR was at the time of this, but he said shortly after this playthrough that he did, he ended at 2311. So that's what we're going to go with. So he's kind of nearing the mid to high level gold range. And he's playing Torbjörn only. So Torbjörn on attack and Torbjörn on defense. And some say attack Torb is best Torb. So we're going to see today just what we got. If anybody wants to submit a video, all the details are up on the screen. I'll leave that up there for a little bit. But yeah, I want to get right into this video and see what we got. We haven't really gotten any good Torbjörn gameplay other than just like a little quick attempt at him. So we're going to get a whole game of Torbjörn. So let's see what we got here.
Arriving at watch point Gibraltar. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
So we got this little keyboard overlay. I don't think that's going to block anything important, so I'll allow it. Usually I don't really want overlays or anything covering up the gameplay footage, but it's not that big, so I think what is it, DSP Stanky I think uses something like this. I don't know if we need it for the Torbjörn gameplay, but hey, whatever, we'll go with it.
Yeah, I don't mind as long as that turret stays up and kills people.
Yeah, dude. Or I can just go fast. Have like 2 chips of payload. I mean, if you have fair or junk back, or sometimes just go. Yeah,
We're gonna have Silva here. Thinking we have something other than Lucia. I'll be in their back lines, distracting them, and I'll keep
Attack
you guys do
commences in 30 seconds.
I always find with Gibraltar, if you want to do an attack Torb, it's best if you do it if you're attacking first on the map, because you get that element of surprise. Oop. Okay, so let's talk team comp here. So, based off of what we're looking at, we've got 2 sentries and we've got 2 guys that can provide shields. I absolutely hate this team composition right now. I mean, you guys are basically going to turn the payload into this armored turret tank of a moving vehicle, and it's going to fail horribly. That's what I'm expecting, unless somebody switches. But you know, this is our first look at a team composition, so we're going to go with it for now. I like the Mercy heal here, depending on, assuming we keep on this. And the Genji is good for the mobility's sake. However, if they have a Pharah, you guys are in trouble unless both turrets tend to lock on her and keep her at bay. But considering there's a whole team that you guys are going to have to worry about, I don't see that happening very much. So if they were on Pharah, you guys are in some trouble. What I would be looking at here, one of these 2 should switch. I know everybody really seems to like Orisa right now. I'm still on the fence with her. Even with their latest little buff changes that have been done to her, giving her an increased time in being able to put down shields, or a faster reload time, cooldown time, whatever you want to call it. Still not that big of a fan of her. She's good, though, for covering up turrets. So in that case, that's why I'm not really quick to say which one of the 2 should change, but one of the 2 should change. I guess if it were me, I would say probably the Orisa, just because having the Reinhardt shield being more mobile, probably a better thing, but one of the 2 should change. And it should either go to a Zenyatta, a Soldier, or a Reinhardt. Zenyatta, because he can provide healing in a Discord orb, and he can potentially shoot down a Pharah, although because we're in a mid-gold game, I'm going to put Zenyatta at number 3. I'll put Roadhog at number 2 because he does just sheer massive amounts of damage, and he's a hero that the Mercy won't have to worry about quite as much because of the self-heal. And then 76 at number 1 because he's one of the better heroes to deal with a Pharah. He can self-heal, and because other than... I think he's just going to be a good DPS for what we've got going on here. And he'll be able to provide a little bit of mobility as well. Maybe give the Mercy an escape route if the Genji goes down or something like that, because he can kind of sprint away, or maybe he'll take the high ground and she can fly up to him. So that's kind of what I like there. And that's assuming we're sticking with the Torb and sticking with the Bastion. Obviously, I would want, since we're sticking with the Torb and we're reviewing the Torb, I would also encourage the Bastion to switch. But yeah, so again, not really loving this team comp to start. I don't know if they're going to switch. I haven't watched this video before, so I'm watching this live with you guys. So we'll see what happens.
They have a Hanzo, so this is going to be interesting.
Alright, so somebody scouted that there's a Hanzo. That doesn't overly concern me about anything you guys are running. So you're trying to get the turret on the cart, which is okay. However, you're not telling them to move off of the cart, so you don't have a turret on there. You just don't have a turret, period. You put it right behind, right where the bubble is, so it's not going to have a good line of sight on anything. You put it basically right in a safe place for the Winston to get it. The turret went down from the Winston, and Arisa's down too, so you're wise to kind of fall back, put up another turret, a level 1 that just dies. I don't know if it even got a shot off. Kind of fall back, stay alive, that's the important thing. You got Mercy some armor, that's good. You got another turret up already. So one thing I want to cover here, okay, you gave yourself armor. You get a few nice little pot shots off. I want to review something here, though. So you're about to give the armor to the Mercy. And, okay, so let's rewind just a few frames. Okay, that's good enough. You can see so the turret's going to be right here. And you're about to go up here, which is something I really like, because what you know that this is going to be a temporary turret. So don't bother wasting time hammering away on it. Just move forward. Let it cover you. At its level 1 stage, it's going to spit out shots. It's going to do its thing, which is fine. You move up and you start using your gun, your rivet gun, whatever you want. I don't know what that gun is called, but you use your gun and you start just poking away at people. And once you get into a better spot, which is going to be down like in this area, you drop off another level 1 turret to cover you, and that's exactly how an attack Torb needs to do it, because right now this is a fight that has not swung in your favor, but the people that died are starting to come back. So a level 2 turret here, where you have it, is going to be a waste, but a level 1 just to allow you guys to push up, add some cover fire, add a little extra DPS, that's perfect. That's exactly what you need to do here. Okay, so let's rewind a few frames just to get this in the picture. That's good enough. Okay, so now we've got our next turret here, and it's watching down there. It can also shoot up here and cover you guys on the high ground. Granted, it's going to die to anybody in the high ground that would choose to take the turret out, but it's good because, one, it's going to point out if somebody tries to flank you from the high ground, if you guys are aware enough to pay attention to what the turret's shooting at. Otherwise, it's focusing on the choke, and you're allowing it to use its proper range because it will be able to hit anybody over here, so it's good cover fire. And again, you're not hammering away at it because, once again, this is a temporary turret. At least I don't think you are. Nope, you're not. Yeah, and that's exactly what you should be doing. It's a level 1 turret. It's allowing cover fire. Alright, you're hammering it once or twice just to kind of give it some extra hit points. And that's okay. because it's only a Winston and you've got help. Unfortunately, the turret didn't survive. The Bastion had you covered, though. Alright, so you pop down another turret just to kind of try to keep the spawn area clear for when everybody comes back. Because you seem to know, and your team seems to know, that this is a lost fight. You're poking a little bit. Not necessarily something you need to do because you already have Molten Core. However, you're able to use the Orisa shield, although that thing got melted pretty quickly. And that's a really bad Orisa shield placement right there. Looks like you tried to give armor to Mercy, but you missed. But the one good thing is that you're giving armor to the people that should be receiving it, i.e. Mercy and yourself. Alright, so you pop down... Alright, let's talk about this for a second. So you guys decide to take the high ground, which is fine. Totally fine with that. So Bastion clears the way for you guys. He got up to the high ground, and I think he gets 2 kills up here. Yeah, he gets 2. He gets Zenyatta, and he gets Winston, which is good. That's perfect. So you're about to put a turret. Let's get to that. So you're picking away at Hanzo, and you get 2 nice shots on him. Okay, so you're putting a turret down. We know just because I rewound it a little bit. So, alright, Mercy just rezzed both people that Bastion killed. So this is back to an even fight again. So that means we've got Hanzo's up in this area. Let me clear the screen here. So we got Hanzo's up in there somewhere. We know that there's 3 people back down this way. The payload is somewhere in here, and you guys are kind of pushing the high ground. So these guys are going to do, the guys down in this area are going to do one of 2 things, because they only really have 2 options to go with. They either fall back to the cart, keeping to the main path, or they're going to come back up and take the high ground behind you. Or I suppose they could come back from the way that you came up. So I guess there's 3 ways that they could take it. My guess is they're going to do one of the first 2, though. So this turret is going to kind of cover your guys' backside a little bit because it can spin around. However, anybody poking up that tries to retake the high ground, this turret's going to be able to block. Now, if you keep it at a level 1, I like the turret position. However, if you start hammering away at it to try to get it to a level 2, I'm going to chastise you. Let's see what you do. Alright, so it looks like we're just leaving it at a level 1. Exactly what you should have done. Alright, so the turret dies. However, that was your cue to know that somebody was coming up and flanking you. And you adjusted appropriately. You dropped onto the point. Reinhardt's in position to cover your turret. But Zarya followed you down there, so you had to attend to her, which is what you should have done. That turret does not need to be a level 2. It'd be nice if it's a level 2, but it didn't need to be. So you cover the Zarya. Your turret died, and I'm just curious who killed your turret. Winston got it, so Winston must have dived the point. And that's fine. Because right now you still got the Bastion. He's shooting around. Bastion takes out the Winston. You pop down another level 1, which is basically covering this whole area here. That's a good turret position just for another level 1. You're not really hammering away at it to get it to level 2, which doesn't need to be yet. Mercy rezzes Zarya and Hanzo. Now you go back. Okay, so your team... Alright, let's review this here. So, at this stage right here, you made the conscious decision that that needs to be a level 2. And it's debatable. And this is why I find it debatable, because Mercy just res, so it's a 6-on-6 again. And because it's a 6-on-6, the first thing I probably would have done is I would have grabbed 2 armor packs out of there and give them to people, preferably squishy people. Mercy, for example, the Genji. Maybe if you turn around and you happen to see a tank was low, you might try to spare the tank a little bit. That would have been the first thing I would have done. The second thing, I probably would have stuck to just shooting with my gun and let the turret do its thing at level 1 just because it's so far back. But you make the decision to go make it a level 2. Now, I can't say if this is a good or bad decision because I don't know if you're going to win this battle or not, making it a level 2. But this is probably what you're thinking. And I can't necessarily say it's a bad choice because it's such a spur-of-the-moment decision. But, so you go and you hammer the level 2 turret up, and I'm guessing you want to pop your Molten Core. And you're wise not to pop it without having the level 2 turret, because otherwise it's pretty much a waste unless there's like a really specific reason not to do that. And I can kind of defend that decision because the rest of your team is there, and it seems like they've got the rest of the red team occupied. So it seems like you're going to be able to get that turret to level 2. And then if you pop it, that's basically an extra person. So maybe if somebody dies while you do that, getting your turret to level 3 might kind of make up for that. I'm curious to see how this battle actually plays out. It actually looks like your team was winning this fight without you really being too heavily involved. Your turret actually took out Mercy, so yeah, you guys took the point. So you hammered that thing to a level 2, and now you're already losing it to another level 1. However, now is a great time to get that thing to level 2 because your team basically had a team wipe, and now you guys are on a full-fledged push. So you refresh your armor. Ooh, what happened there? I didn't even see what happened there. Oh, we're going to get a kill feed, it looks like. Hanzo. Wow, that's a really unlucky shot. Not much you can do about that. Your turret took out Mercy again, so your turret's a Mercy killer. Bastion got another 2, so your team's pushing without you. So, okay, this is interesting. And I think this is actually pretty good. So Hanzo takes you out, which gave your team a disadvantage early on. However, your Bastion and your turret started getting kills, and then it looks like Genji actually probably, I can't tell if he popped his ult or if he's just getting kills, but he picked off Baby Diva and Zenyatta. So your team's still pushing, and it looks like you want to assure that this team takes a second point because they're already pretty much right there. So you pop your ult, and okay, so you actually took out the Diva mech with your ulted level 3 turret. So what I like about this is you know your team has momentum, and you don't want your team to lose momentum because of that Hanzo pick on you. So you popped your ult to let your turret do the work. And because your team has the momentum, I think this is a good ult and I like it. And your turret's obviously doing something because it took out the mech and it allowed the Genji to take out the Baby Diva. And had Genji not have taken out Baby Diva, your turret still might have done it. So that's a tank down essentially from popping that ult. That's a good trade-off, especially with you not even being there. And that's the advantage of Torbjörn. And look, your turret took out Mercy for a 3rd straight time. That's awesome. I wish other people would prioritize Mercy like your turret did. So that's a good shield placement by Arisa. I think she helped both herself and you on that one.
They're behind. Somewhere.
She's in front. I for Mercy.
Okay, so one thing I gotta say that I like is you're being cautious with your armor, and I like that. Because if you get into a pinch, having those armor reserves for yourself is what's going to keep you alive. I don't think many people really think of Torbjörn quite like this, but Torbjörn is like a mini healer in a way. He's like a hybrid healer because he can drop those armor packs on himself and keep himself going. So what I would always encourage people that play Torbjörn to do is at minimum keep at least 50 on reserve for yourself for when you get in trouble and you're in a battle. Because as soon as you start taking some damage, you can pop that armor pack down, pick it up right away, and, you know, take a little extra damage, give yourself an extra couple seconds to maybe pop that one extra headshot, or you right-click and get that shotgun spread out there and finish off a target you might not have otherwise normally had the time to do. Some people, as soon as they get enough to drop an armor pack, they're just shooting it out there. The other thing I wanted to point out is you're shooting them at the squishy people most of the time, which is exactly what you should do. Like on that last armor pack that you just did, you just kind of threw it out there. I would encourage not to do too much of that. There are times for that, and I don't know if we're going to see any of that in this video. But if we do, I'll pause it and point it out. So I'm not sure who picked that one up.
Go ahead, Fred.
So Mercy just reses and you pop alt. That's actually really good because you've got a bunch of enemies around you, and that turret can have free reign on just everybody she rezzed. And you popped it at a good time because they're just about to come out of invincibility stage. So you should get maximum use out of that turret. And yeah, that's a team wipe. And I think you know that too, and that's why you're just spreading armor all over the place. And at a time like that, that's a good time to just start shooting armor packs out when you guys already have the momentum. And it's likely that having those few armor packs spread about is going to help you keep that momentum. That's one time where I'm completely okay with it. Another time would be if you're in the middle of a big fight and you're completely maxed out on scrap. And that actually was kind of what was happening to you anyway. So I'm a little surprised that team comp worked. And part of me wants to say it worked because of the level of SR we're playing at, like a mid-gold. You know, I wouldn't encourage this kind of a team composition of anything above 2,500 and up. It was kind of one of those cancer comps that took the team off guard, and they just didn't adjust properly to deal with it. If you're wondering how somebody should adjust to that, what I want to do here, I want to pause right there just so we can talk about this team comp too. But how to adjust if you're a viewer and you're in a lower SR and you want to know how to cover yourself from a team that goes Torbjörn and Bastion on a payload map like this. There's a few things you could do. One, Pharah would have been a problem for this team. Junkrat would be a good one because he's going to be able to break down the shields and give proper burst fire to taking out the turrets and the bastions. Surprisingly, I would have said a Symmetra just because they weren't running Diva, so her photons are going to go through every shield and give Mercy a full-time job in keeping that bastion alive as long as she can keep the photons going on the turrets. And other than that, a Genji or a Tracer could be good just because they're so fast-moving, and if the Bastion has trouble aiming at them, they might be able to kind of occupy his aim and then give other people a chance to really run in there. And if that's the case, then a Roadhog could work out for the burst fire. But basically what you're looking for is burst damage. Burst damage or really long-range damage like a Widow and a Hanzo, but you're still going to need something to kind of slow up the payload, so even those heroes wouldn't be too ideal, but you get the idea with the burst damage. So now to move on to this team comp, so because we just kind of saw ahead a little bit, we don't know what this guy's going to run, but we'll talk about what we can see here. So we've got a double healer. I think he was the Bastion. No, can't remember. So double healer. I don't like the DPS combination. I like Torb defense, of course, and I don't necessarily mind Widow, but if I would encourage this guy to play DPS because these two alone on DPS I don't think are going to work out very well. It'll be nice that you have the Zenyatta for extra DPS, but right now I don't see a lot of use for the Reinhardt shield outside of you as the Torbjörn and the Mercy kind of hiding behind it here and there. But the Widow's not going to get too much of a use out of it. I would encourage probably a 76 here. Can't go wrong with a Roadhog in his current state. And we've got Orisa again. So I'm not a big fan of that pick either. Alright, so I think I know. Okay. This isn't bad because this is going to be a good ult builder. So what he's doing here is the spawn's right here. They're going to drop down and push on the cart. His team's going to be up here shooting down on them, and their back is going to be to his turret. And he's going to be able to build a little bit of ult charge. I'm guessing by the time the turret dies, he's going to be at about, I'm going to say 25%. I'm going to say he's going to get a 25 ult charge off of this particular turret.
As soon as they get to here, we go set up back on the other side. Because if they get to here, we're not holding from here. Out with this comp.
So you run back to your team, which is exactly what you should be doing. You know that turret is like a suicide turret. Like it's there just to get some ult charge, and as soon as that turret dies, or maybe even a few hit points before it dies, you should have another turret going up here, and I would be looking for you to get a level 2. Alright, so I was close, 17%. But you're already, alright, look at that. You're already at 28 by the time you're building your second turret. So I wasn't really close in the ballpark there. You got it to level 2, so that's gonna, and you got it back a little bit too, which is good. So, ooh, you have a flanking Symmetra that you were able to, I think that was a right click. So the turret took out Sombra, you took out Symmetra, and the turret took out Baby Diva. So right now, I'd say you're carrying. However, okay, so Orisa dived down. Orisa's by herself, I think. Widow, good cover. And Orisa got the soldier. So that's a team wipe, basically. And now the team's going to be coming back a bit scattered here. Staggered, I should say. So Farah just went down to Zenyatta. Yeah, this team is on full stagger, so they should be regrouping. And Diva's just giving you guys ult charge. You already have your ult. Sombra tried to flank again and got killed by your turret. Diva now flanks by herself. So this team is incredibly staggered. They're not working as a team at all, and everybody's just getting slaughtered right now. And it's hard for them to hit your turret, and because you got it back just a little bit, it's covering that flank really well. And I think that's what's throwing the Sombra off. Because this is a mid-gold game, that few inches back really helps cover that flank. So now we got a diving Winston who dives and then falls immediately. Uh-oh, your turret's taking damage. You pop your ult to save it. So not the greatest ult there, just because all you did was you saved the turret. Oh, actually the turret got Genji. Okay, that's not too bad. It looked like a bad ult, but Genji kind of bailed you out on that one. So you threw a couple armor, packs. You just kind of threw them down. Try to throw them at the people that should be receiving them. In this case, it would be Widow and Mercy primarily. Or Zenyatta. Actually, Zenyatta probably would be better. Good shot on the Mercy. So let's cover this shot on the Mercy here. I think I rewound a little too far back, but that's alright. Looks like we're almost done with this one anyway. So, okay, I didn't even catch that. So, your turret just took out Winston as you're coming back up to try to save it.
I just killed myself.
So, alright. The Mercy is actually the one that killed your turret. Okay, so Mercy's up there, she dived, and now she's holding spacebar, which I don't exactly know why she's doing that, but she's holding spacebar and she's gonna just kind of glide back down here. Now, for anybody that's struggling to level up from a platinum level down, this is what makes you a platinum and down player as opposed to something platinum and up. If you are in his position and you're shooting at this Mercy, she needs to die. I don't care what hero you are, that needs to be a kill. And he does it. Let's watch this. And he almost didn't do it too. Because it looked like she finally found somebody to kind of fly to right towards the middle as she was gliding. And it looked like she was going to escape. And actually, I had that paused right at the perfect spot too. Let's see if I can get that shot back. Okay. So so he pops one last shot off. It's right there. That right there is his last shot. Mercy's right here. Now, what is she gonna do? Because when you're firing with Torbjörn, Torbjörn's a projectile hero. So when you're looking for, when you hear people say things like hit scan, and we're talking about Hanzo's, May's, Torbjörn's are the three that come to mind. I'm sure there might be others, but these are the three that come to mind. They're projectile heroes. They're not hit scan heroes, which means you have to kind of lead your shot. Actually, Orisa would be a projectile hero too, now that I think about it. But you have to lead your shot. And he does a great job at this because Mercy's got two choices when she lands right there. And this is really quick thinking. She's either going to go into this doorway right here, or she's going to go back to where her spawn is, because that's where most of her people are likely coming from. So he puts his shot right here, trying to lead his shot, thinking she's going to go towards the spawn, and he ended up being right. And to punish a Mercy for overextending like that is so vital and so important, and I applaud your shot on this. So, you know, for anybody struggling to rank up gold, silver, bronze, even platinum, you have to make people on the enemy team that overextend, you have to make them pay, and this is exactly what this Torbjörn did. So right now, you're hacked, you've got Genji on you, all you can do is retreat. Live to fight another day, that's a perfect time to retreat. Just give up the high ground there, because those are two heroes that can't really take advantage of the high ground. You're fighting a Widow. Why do they have a Widow? Good job using armor. So, alright. This is an interesting turret, and I kind of like it and I kind of don't. This is one of those really situational turrets that can either really work out in your favor, or it's going to do nothing and you're going to end up needing to move it. So this is what I'm guessing you're thinking. You're thinking you've seen multiple people try to take the high ground and not really do anything with it, so you want to protect the flank for them taking the high ground, and you want them to go up around here and then come back up top, rather than come around here and up. And you have noticed one thing. I think you've noticed it. I've noticed it. Sombra keeps taking this path. Every time I've seen Sombra, she's been going up here around and then trying to take this high ground up here. And putting the turret there is going to stop her sooner rather than later, because you've been stopping her more on the later part, which isn't the worst thing in the world to do. So if she manages her invisibility, this turret might not do anything. But as we see, at least in this instance, she isn't managing her invisibility very well. Maybe it's because we just caught her off guard and she was about to pop her invisibility. But this turret's going to stop her flank dead in her tracks. And if she's a good Sombra, she's going to have a translocator set up somewhere and she's going to back out of this. If she's a bad Sombra, this should be an easy kill for you. Let's see what happens. Okay, so she just ran. So she's... Okay, so I guess this was option 3. She just tried to get away from you and ran a different way and died. So, and that still falls under the bad Sombra play, but, you know, never mind the part about you being good or bad. She just ran away from you and died. But the good thing is you made her go out of position and overextend, and she died because of it. So that's well played, at least in this instance. So you made it a level 2, which is... The positioning I'm sort of 50-50 on. It could be good, it could not work. But what's good about what you did is you made it a level 2 at a time where your team basically team wiped them, and you can see it on the kill cam right now, or the kill feed, that this team's been wiped. It's a lost fight for the enemy team, and they need to regroup. So you took the time, you got it to a level 2, which is exactly the perfect time to be doing that. And now what you should be doing, what it looks like you're about to do, is collect all this scrap. This one is a maybe. You got one here too. So actually, this, and this should all be collected by the time they come back, because these are all fresh kills. You should be able to get at least 4 of them here. And then, as you're collecting that scrap, this would be a good time to just load up everybody on armor. You're already at full armor, so your whole team, including tanks, should be receiving armor packs right now. Or at the very, very least, if you somehow run short on time, scatter the point with armor, so that way when somebody gets low, they can just re-armor up and they'll be back ready to go again. That's what I'm looking for here. Yep, and that's okay. So that's what you basically armor up the point, which is okay. And you kept one. Now this is another thing that I pointed out earlier, and you did this, and I just want to congratulate you for this. You saved an armor pack for yourself. So you know, and you can see here from the Widow ult, they're all about to come back out. You can grab these 2 and maybe throw out another armor pack, because at that point you'll be sitting on 2. And you already got 1 on you, so you probably won't need to be having 2 in your reserve unless this fight really doesn't go in your favor. However, you're also going to have ult pretty soon. And if your turret ends up being in a good spot, that ult could be deadly. But if the turret ends up being out of position, the ult might be for nothing. But I'm getting off topic of what I wanted to point out. You're keeping an armor pack for yourself for your next fight, and that's exactly what you should be doing. And that's good too. You gave it straight to Mercy. So all your tanks have a couple armor packs to just sit on. Okay, oh. So this turret ended up being a really good spot. So the Reinhardt's trying, we have a flanking Reinhardt. I don't know what's going on there, but this Reinhardt would have been able to harass your healers. He would have made your healers have to drop down. I don't think he would have actually killed anything, unless they just weren't paying attention, because he used his charge, so the charge is gone. Now, unless he gets a good fire strike on the Zenyatta, my guess is he's only going to damage them if the turret wasn't here. Because the turret's here, and because you popped your ult, he's probably going to be in a bad position right now. Let's play this out. Yeah, look at this. He couldn't even flank because as soon as you pop your ult, his shield's up and he's got to block everything that you're throwing at him. And now because you're backing up that turret, you can lay into this shield too. And my guess is you're going to either break it or he's going to just drop it and try to get out of dodge. He might be the one ending up dropping. So you killed him. So you solo took out a Reinhardt that was trying to flank your healers. Now, was that good positioning for a Reinhardt to do? No. But because they did it and because your turret was where it was, you covered a flank and you completely shut it down. So remember how I said that's a 50-50 turret? If they try to flank, if they keep trying to flank that way, it's a good turret, and if they don't, it's going to be a bad one. Well, they tried to do it, and you shut it down, and that's perfect. That's exactly what a turret should be doing. Okay, so the Mercy just rezzed, and she got Sombra and Reinhardt. Now, Soldier just took out the Orisa ult, and your ult's about to be done. And on top of that, considering where everybody's probably fighting at, that turret's not really going to be covering anything. So right now, I think the enemy team might have the advantage. Okay, Reinhardt just ulted. Mercy just killed their Genji. Reinhardt killed the Mercy. Okay, so the Reinhardt got revenge on your turret, and it actually looked okay. So now you got a high ground turret. That's a bad ult for Sombra. And why is that a bad ult for Sombra? Because her team's dead already. She's an initiator. She's not a finisher. So that ult's not going to do anything. She should have ulted the second she got res. Now, she didn't have her ult. I don't know why she wouldn't, because I'm pretty sure she's been Sombra this whole game, and I can't recall her ulting this whole game. So, now I know the time's almost done, so it's like you either use it or it just goes to waste, and I get that. But she should have, that ult doesn't do anything. So it's a bad ult. It's really we've got a Winston who's ulting, who's not going to deal any real damage. He's just maybe going to delay the game long enough to get the team to respawn, but I doubt it. Yeah, he's already dead. So a bunch of armor packs on the point. Your turret finishes off the game. Oh, no, they did get back. But they're just all melting. Your turret takes out Mercy one last time. And it's all just clean up from here. And that's GG. So you guys just completely dominated him. You dominated all of them. Everybody's on fire. Just take a quick look at the stats here. So look at that. I'll go back just a couple more. There we go. So look at that. Gold damage, goldy limbs, pretty high on the objective kills. You had a decent objective time. Kind of surprised that's not a little bit higher, but the way your offense went, I can kind of understand that. You guys never really had you never really got a good synergy going with pushing the cart with the turret on it until the very end. Look at this though. 1 death out of that whole game. 1 death. That's incredible. 44 kills to 1 death. My guess is you're not going to be gold for much longer if you keep getting games like this. I still don't love the comp you guys ran. I don't know if this team was just tilted or what. What's interesting to note is you were playing against a couple silver players too, and what kind of probably threw the team composition or the matchmaking off for your enemy team is this guy or girl playing the Mercy. It's like your best player's playing Mercy, and everybody else is playing the higher skill capped heroes. I think that really hurt that team quite a bit. But the other thing that really hurt this team is they didn't seem to play together. They went really heavy dive and just didn't seem to have any kind of a synergy with it. And there wasn't a lot of damage to be done from any of these 3 attackers, and you guys just adjusted to it really well. I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of staggering from this red team, and just poor teamwork in general. So the things that I really want to point out, I mean, you guys pretty much steamrolled them, so there's not a lot of negative things I can point out for your gameplay on this particular game. So that I'm going to kind of focus on more of the things to do for the other people watching that are maybe wanting to be a better Torbjörn player. Watch your armor pack management and do it how this guy did it. When I play Torb, I do something pretty similar to this, where I keep an armor pack in reserve, keep one on me, like actually like wearing an armor pack, and then keep another one on reserve. And when the scrap starts building up, that's when I start giving it out to people, unless I see somebody of importance who's usually more on the squishier side, on low health, then I might throw one their way or something like that. Obviously discretion, and there's various scenarios that can play into that, but a rule of thumb is keep one for yourself and wear one at all times, and you'll be a better Torbjörn for it, because you'll be alive a lot longer. When you're doing attack Torb, or when you're kind of trying to regain positioning, don't be afraid to just throw level 1 turrets out there, pretty similar to how he did it. The more that you get for level 1 turrets in a scenario like this, the better, because the level 1 turret is going to provide just perfect cover fire for you. It's going to be that extra little oomph of DPS that your team might need in a team fight. It's going to give the enemy team a different target to shoot at that isn't you, or your healers, or maybe an exposed tank, which is going to buy your healers more time to output healing. There's just so many positives to it. And just treat a level 1 turret as an expendable little asset, because odds are by the time they kill it, you're going to be able to drop another one anyway. And then know when to upgrade it to a level 2. When the team fight's already won, if it's already in a good position, upgrade it to a level 2. If not, move it and then hammer it home to a level 2. And popping an alt, he popped his ults at pretty good times. You know, when you're away from your turret, but if your turret's in a good position, you see it's firing as you're walking back from spawn, and you start seeing it starting to take a little bit of damage, don't be afraid to pop your ult and let your turret just get all the glory from a molten core. You don't necessarily have to be there, have it to a level 3 and then pop it, you know, or get it to a level 2 and then pop it. Other times, the one other scenario that didn't come up that I was kind of hoping would is in terms of when to pop a molten core. Say, for example, you're in a team fight and maybe both mercies get a couple reses, and it's one of those even fights and you think you might be able to turn the tide, but let's say you don't have a turret, or let's say you have a level 1 turret up, and you think you might be able to turn the tide if you pop your molten core. What you might want to do is you pop your molten core. Let's say you got a level 1 turret up. So you pop your molten core, and let's say you're in the vicinity of the turret, but you're not super close to it. So you pop it. You try to get a couple headshots or at least a couple right clicks with the shotgun spread. Make people focus on you and not so much the turret. When they focus on you, you've got enough armor to stay alive to take some of the brunt of that damage, and then if you're keeping your armor reserves, as you should, you can even drop another one on yourself. Stand in front of the level 1 and then hammer it home to get it to level 3, and then run behind it and use it as a shield. And that'll do so much damage and throw off people if they can't kill you, and then assuming it's an even fight, there's not going to be a ton of attention put your way. Maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most. People will start looking at you. A lot of people tend to just run because their initial reaction is going to be, oh crap, he probably has a level 3 turret somewhere. So they probably try to, you know, get out to safety. If they communicate well, then maybe that won't work. But it's something to think about, and it's another strategy with your molten core. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys, for any of you Torb aspiring players. We're getting close to the 50-minute mark, so I want to cut it before we get to 50. So yeah, thank you guys for getting me to episode 8, and I hope to do some more videos soon. Thanks for watching.